Started, I'd like to introduce our Director of College and Career Readiness, Jamin Pariso. You're on mute, Jamin.
There we go. I did it. I did the mute
Yay.
thing. I'm going to share my screen right here. My name is Jamin Pariso, and I am the Director of College and Career Readiness here at Visalia Unified School District. And that encompasses all our college and career readiness programs, career technical education, and our Link Learning Academies, which will be our primary discussion today. But we will cover a little bit of many different things. As we go through this presentation, if you have questions, just like Paige Leverin just mentioned to you, my co-conspirator in this presentation, feel free to go into the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen and type those in, and we have a very handy staff of our department, our two work-based learning coordinators, and our counseling tech to be able to answer your questions as you post them. And that way we're all being cognizant of our time. So what is this? What are we talking about, and what are we presenting to you, and why are we doing it in January? So some of you think, hey, my son or daughter is only halfway through their 8th grade year, and we already have to think about registering and programs and things of that sort in high school. And the reason why we're hitting you up and discussing these things with you right now in January is in the next few months, starting in February and then March and April, is the heavy season that the high schools start registering for classes for the following year. And they will have a time allotted to have their own site-based parent meetings, freshman orientations, and things of that sort, that they will be in contact with you regarding different options and programs available at their particular schools. So as a student in the Visalia Unified School District boundaries, you have a home high school that based on where you live, that you will attend. And what Link Learning does, it gives you an opportunity to pick a program that you have interest in and be able to potentially go to a different high school to participate in that program. And so the main kind of theory behind this is equity of access, where we have some really cool, unique academy programs, but we want to make sure that they're available to all our high school students and as much as possible. And so that's what these academies are about. And one thing to kind of limit confusion that I wanted to clarify right off the bat. So all our high schools have career technical education programs, and we call them pathways. And they're usually 2 courses to 4 courses long. And they have all sorts of different industry sectors, such as agriculture, woodworking, construction, auto shop, metal shop, culinary arts, media arts, and things of that sort. And every high school has their own programs. If as a student going to a high school, let's say I live in El Diamante's boundaries, then when I register with my normal high school through that process in the spring, I could sign up for those CTE programs as elective choices. And that's something that you are fully able to do. What makes Link Learning different is something that we're going to talk about. And it's something that's a really important decision. And that's why we wanted to bring this up in January, to give you enough time to think about it, to talk about it with your child, and to figure out what would be best for you. And our academies are, in essence, like career technical education mixed with college and career readiness, not just college readiness and not just career readiness, but college and career readiness on steroids. And so we provide all sorts of really pertinent and relevant experiences for students that are participating in the academies. And a story we are shared through a video that we presented this week to 8th grade classes. There's a story we shared about the importance of taking advantage of opportunities when they present themselves, and being someone that is looking for the future, planning for the future, and being focused on goal setting and things of that sort. And in doing that, this is a very unique opportunity. The Link Learning Academies and the academy structure is something that's very cutting edge. And the whole premise and point is to integrate college and career and relevancy to education. And that's something that I've always reflected upon when I think about when I was in high school. There was college prep classes and not college prep classes. There was electives like ceramics and art and other things, but there wasn't much relevancy in the sense of different career options and how what I'm doing in my classes relates to a certain industry sector and certain real world application. And that's really what our Link Learning Academies are all about. Let's see. I guess I should start the PowerPoint here. So I'm going to have my assistant, Paige. I'm going to share the screen with her, and she is going to show you a quick 2-minute video that kind of gives the foundation to why Link Learning Academies.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. Also, the video that Jamin was referring to about how to transition to high school, I have put the link for that video in the chat, so you can take a look at that and view that with your student, and it'll give you a lot of great tips on understanding the A to G requirements and graduation requirements and how to get involved in high school. And with that, let's go ahead and start the video.
High school can be a good learning experience. But what if we could make it a great one and linked high school with the rest of the world? What if we allowed students to examine what's out there and explore the possibilities in career pathways where they're guided by mentors? With linked learning, students are given the freedom to be curious and discover their interests. Because when students are able to apply what they learn in the classroom in real-world workplace settings, school becomes relevant.
Places, everyone. Take it again.
Students realize their potential and expand their limits. Something wondrous happens. They learn what they love and discover entire new worlds. See how linked learning is bringing together employers, educators, and the community to help prepare California students for college, for career, for life. Linked learning. Life comes to school.
Okay, Jamin, I'll go ahead and give the screen back to you. You're on mute again, Jamin. It's just that kind of day. It's been a long week.
There we go.
Sounds
It has
good.
been. I'm one of those guys that keep forgetting to unmute. So what are Link Learning Academies and the 4 components of the academies? Like, what makes this something extremely different than maybe some of you experienced as parents in your high school experience? There's 4 major components that we focus on in our academy structure. One is rigorous academics. All students that are planning to go to college or even that start off in high school are on what's known as the UC, or University of California, Cal State University, A through G track. And the A through Gs are different categories of courses that students need to take to be able to qualify to enroll in a 4-year university upon graduation of high school. And so as a member in our academy, our academies are not like what you might think is vocational education from back in the 50s and 60s, where kids who were not academically inclined would just go to a shop class. That's not what this is about. It's about college and career. No matter what a student wants to do, whether it's going right into a trade after high school or whether they want to go into a 4-year competitive university and then graduate school, Link Learning Academy meets the needs of all those students because it pushes our students in a rigorous academic environment. Embedded with that academic environment is a career technical education pathway. So the academy itself, one of the academies, for example, at our schools, there are 2 in each of our high school, comprehensive high school, for 4 total. They're centered around an industry sector. So for example, one of our academies is architecture, engineering, and construction. And so the CTE pathway, or Career Technical Education pathway, that 4-year course sequence builds upon developing industry-specific and industry-relevant knowledge around that industry sector. In addition, it interconnects or links, that's where we get the linked learning part, to the academic programs that students would be taking if they were in the academy or not. So for example, let's say I'm in the Media Arts Academy at El Diamante. My first year course would be an intro to video course, but then it would also be linked with my English class. So I would always take English regardless if I was in the academy or not. But what's different is that English class has academy kids in it, and the teacher, the English teacher, works with the CTE teacher, the intro to video class, and they're able to work on projects. So what it does is it creates relevancy to the academic program as it connects to real world application. In addition, a huge component, which we'll talk about a little bit more in detail in the next few slides, is work-based learning. Work-based learning is along a continuum of growth for students to learn employability skills, how to communicate, how to be trustworthy, how to live in an adult world and be successful in that, and how to learn those skill sets to help students be successful and navigate the real world on their own. And so it's in a gradual learning curve where eventually students go from having guest speakers to internships and receive industry-based certifications and even early college credit as a possibility. And so work-based learning, we'll talk about that, but that's a huge component of these academies. In fact, we have 2 work-based learning coordinators, Teresa Polich and Karina Mello, who are dedicated, their job full-time is dedicated to working with our academies, developing partnerships with industry in our region, and connecting the classroom to the real world, to our industry partners for these experiences. Another large component is a comprehensive support structure. We want our kids to be successful. We want it to be rigorous. We want kids to have an exciting experience, but we want them to be successful. So each of the high school sites have a coordinator for each of the academies. They have a lead teacher. They have collaboration time where they discuss the students and what their needs are and how those needs can be met. And so those are the 4 main components of our academies. Let's see, next slide here. So as I mentioned earlier, the linked learning pathways bring it together. It brings through a pathway connected to an industry sector. But the most important aspect of things, I always get asked the question, well, if I go into the Health Science Academy and I decide I don't want to be a doctor, or I don't want to be a nurse, or I don't want to be in that profession, did I just waste my time? And the answer is absolutely not. The experiences that students get, the skills and the mindset, it's relevant no matter what industry sector a student finally will go in, or whatever their career interest or college interest is after high school. And so the skill set, the experiences has always been beneficial. I know numerous students that have gone through academies and they decide to jump into something completely different in college and even in career, but they always reflect back on these experiences they had in the academy as being instrumental in how they make their final decision and also in their success. And that's something that I think needs to be understood, is your student or yourself is not making a permanent decision in the sense of your child's future, their 8th grade year. It is something that is available, that's surrounded a general industry sector to be able to have these experiences within that industry. A lot of students have found passion and unknown passion by joining some of these academies, and really has given them direction in their future. So here is the work-based learning continuum that I just spoke about earlier. So as you go through 9th grade through 12th, you start with this kind of gradual increase in experiences. So you go from career awareness to career exploration, career preparation, and then training. So at the beginning end, it's guest speakers, industry tours, field trips. Goes into like your sophomore year where we do job shadows. Then it goes into a lot of project-based learning, mentorships, and internships by the summer of their junior year. All these are opportunities that students have as part of these academies. And then a lot of our academies have increased the number of industry-based certifications, entry-level certifications that students can earn. Some of them have connection with college credit through our local community colleges that are relevant to that industry sector, and even apprenticeships. We have a lot of students who have gone through internships, and they end up, as they go through college after graduation, have worked with some of these industry partners that have provided these opportunities. And so it's something that really gives our students a leg up that participate in these academies. When they go off into the workforce or into college, they have some of these experiences. They're experienced far beyond the traditional high school graduate that hasn't had some of these experiences. So let's talk about, this is some of the pictures we have of just different work-based learning events, job shadows, different career, different things going on within our district. And you can see that the goal of ours is to get them out of the classroom and to have some of these experiences. So here are the academies that we currently have in our district. El Diamante has the Media Arts Academy that's geared toward the technology and development within cinematography and all the different facets of that. They also have sports therapy, rehabilitation, orthopedics, and neuromuscular gains. And I apologize to our translators for having to repeat what I just said, but we call it short the Strong Academy. So it's geared toward the health profession, but in regards to health, physical athletics, development, and psychology around that, but also the medical profession regarding like orthopedic medicine, muscle movement, body health, and things of that sort. At Golden West, they have the Business and Finance Academy that has a very strong program regarding entrepreneurship in general. In fact, it was just in a local paper recently that several other kids did really well in a competition that was kind of like a Shark Tank type competition for high school students, and they placed very high in that competition. Also, they have the First Responder Academy that's geared around EMT, fire, and law enforcement. At Mount Whitney High School, they have the Computer Science Academy that has two kind of areas of focus. One is computer programming and robotics and things of that sort, and then also IT. And that's a huge field within understanding the hardware and the wiring. And frankly, none of us would be able to function without a solid IT department. And so that's something that's a very viable option for students. Also at the Mount Whitney High School is the Health Science Academy. Many students who want to be doctors, nurses, other medical field professions join that academy. It's a very popular one. And many students pursue a CNA certification, certified nurse assistant. And that's something, a huge stepping stone for them toward a nursing degree. And they're able to make a really decent wage right out of high school with certification and then continue on post-secondary if they desire. Redwood High School, they have the architecture, construction, and engineering pathway that's geared toward that whole field of structural engineering and construction management and architecture and design. And then Redwood also has the Law and Justice Academy that's geared toward the law professions and constitutional law, all the different types of law they explore. And there's a lot of students in that Law and Justice Academy that also are involved in mock trial, and they perform very well. And so those are our 8 Link Learning Academies. So you might be thinking, how does this work? Let's say that my student lives in Mount Whitney's boundaries, and I want my student to go to the Health Science Academy. You really perk your interest, and maybe your child wants to be a doctor or a nurse or something like that. As a Mount Whitney student, you could apply during this open enrollment period to go to the Health Science Academy, and it just happens to be at your home high school. But let's say that you're a Mount Whitney student, but you really want to go to the Media Arts Academy at El Diamante. Then through this process, we basically waive the inter-district transfer policy for you to be able to attend the Media Arts Academy at El Diamante High School. And so those different programs, these intense academy programs, are available to you and at the different high schools. So one of the questions that keep coming up, do I still attend Mount Whitney and then I just go to El Diamante for the classes? The answer is no. You become an El Diamante student. You can participate in the programs there. You are a full-blown Mount Whitney or El Diamante student if you go to the Media Arts Academy. And there are some caveats to that we'll talk about in a minute. But first, I want to show you about a 7-8 minute video on just kind of some of the highlights of each of the academies, some of the industry partners that are involved in them, some of the teachers and students, just to kind of get you an idea of what these academies look like. So I will unshare and turn it back over to you, Paige.
Okay. And can you see that screen on your screen now with the video?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
People get into media arts because they have a story to tell. They may not know what that story is yet, but in this academy, students will learn to plan, produce, and edit films. They'll learn character design and practical effects. So media arts, and filmmaking specifically, is a way for a student who has something to say but doesn't know how yet, to say it and find their voice.
Students have been taught reading and writing since they're in kindergarten on. But one of the things they've never been taught is how to code or how to computer program. Now you know how to use all this technology, your smartphones, all the apps that go with it, but you have no power to create those. And the jobs are creating them. The money is in creating them. Being part of the Computer Science Academy allows you to be creating technology for the next generation of technology users.
Students who really have an interest in a health profession should pursue this academy. If you think someday this might be what I want to do, come explore it. You'll get the opportunity to begin your training here with learning something as simple as CPR that can save someone's life. You'll see what different future careers are out there. If science interests you, if you're interested in helping people, then the Health Science Academy would be for you.
How many have been on an actual construction site before?
An engineer is really just a different word to describe a problem solver. Engineers are the ones that are designing roads, they're designing bridges, they're designing robots, they're designing dams, they're designing buildings, airplanes, cars. You can think about pretty much anything that you see out in the world. Engineers are the ones that are coming up with those things.
First Responders Academy is going to work with Sheriff's Department, Police Department, CHP, paramedics, fire, the helicopter, anybody that is on scene as soon as an accident happens or something catastrophic.
There's no one telling you what you're going to find there. You're dealing with people at all different points in their life. We've got to be able to go 100% at any moment's notice. You can't get through this career without having that kind of mentality.
STRONG is an acronym that stands for Sports, Therapy, Rehabilitation, Orthopedics, and Neuromuscular Gains. Each piece stands for a different type of profession that you could enter once you work your way through this academy.
I like using movement as medicine, helping them get back to their life. That's my game, my goal.
If you're interested in the human body and how it works, then this is definitely the program for you.
This is the first page, We the People, our Constitution, which forms the laws of this country. These students are going to see the defense attorneys, the prosecuting attorneys, the jury, the judge. You'll see everyone involved in the court process. When you go and sit in that courtroom, there's really going to be someone on trial.
Ladies and gentlemen, is this your verdict?
The moment they say that word, guilty or not guilty, you just changed someone's fate.
So at the freshman level, we hope to give them a good overview of the many careers that are available. At the sophomore level, entrepreneurship. The junior level is accounting, and the senior level, a virtual enterprise course.
As soon as I hopped into business, I started thinking back to my business classes that I took. I ended up using that whole business plan, switched out the information I made to actually help start my company.
One of the unique things about this academy, being small and based on a farm, is it's definitely interesting every day. There's so much hands-on learning. We go out, we're working with the animals, we're working in the shop, doing the things we've been learning about. So that's kind of exciting development that's happening in education right now, and eighth graders are benefiting from this great program that we're putting together.
One of the things that I fear is that parents will think that we're trying to get kids to decide on their career when they're in eighth grade, and that's absolutely not true. This just provides a broad career exposure so that they can explore.
In a linked learning situation, you've got adults who are interested in investing some time and energy and effort into a child. That child responds in kind. The thing that makes things happen is a relationship between a child and a teacher.
You know, linked learning really is a perfect approach for education. No longer do we have standalone subjects like English and then math and then science. They bring them together around a common theme. On the work-based learning side, they're going to have industry leaders, CEOs, and managers that you've worked with and talked with. If they want to go and start working at an entry-level job, they'll have that basic skill set ready to go. If they're going to dive into college, they're going to be a leader on that college campus.
I can't even hardly express how excited I am about having these programs here on campus. Students being with a group of other folks who know that they have a similar interest, it just makes school much more relevant and real for them.
A motivated child who knows things and is excited about the possibilities can take that first step into adult life and not just be eligible for things after school, but to be ready for them, to be able to push through whatever barriers come up, and be able to take on whatever comes their way without slowing down.
Intrinsic motivation is the most powerful motivation in the world. And we try as educators to get that to work for students, but you can't implant that. That only comes from the student, but we can design experiences. From what we've done in linked learning, we're designing experiences that ignite that intrinsic motivation, and it works.
Every child needs a work-based learning experience. Every child needs project-based learning experiences. Every child needs to find ways to explore the things that make him or her excited about what the future holds for them. The glimpse of what might be and the fact that I can do this leads to all kinds of things in the future. That's the beauty of it.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that kind of a brief overview of our 8 different academies. And I wanted to bring up a question that comes up too regarding these academies. Students do not have to pick to join these. These are something that we hope that they're excited about and passionate about. And it's something that is offered to our incoming 8th graders going into 9th grade into our high schools. And so this is something that we want as an option for them. The space is not exponential, which means if you are interested in this, you want to take advantage and sign up during this open enrollment period. And we'll talk a little bit more about that about the logistics of it all and the time frame of it. But if this doesn't fit something that you or your child wants, we do have other career technical education opportunities. And I want to talk about some of those other programs briefly, just so you have an idea. So like I said at the beginning of the presentation, we do have career technical education pathways that are like linked learning academies, but scaled down, obviously. For a more robust experience, the academy is a 4-year commitment where it builds upon itself each year. Our CT pathways are also very viable. They have great employability skill development through participation in our programs like Future Farmers of America, future business leaders, and things of that sort. So, but here's some other programs that we also have. One is the California Cadet Corps, and that's a JROTC type of program. It's housed through the California National Guard, and the program is open to all VUSD students, very similar to like our linked learning academies, where you could, if your son or daughter wants to go in the military and wants to have those experiences and is very committed to that, and they're at another high school, they could sign up to go to the California Cadet Corps at Mount Whitney High School, be a Mount Whitney student, and participate in this program. So the enrollment for that is similar to our linked learning, even though it's not technically a linked learning academy. We also have a couple other programs. One is VTech High School, which is an early college charter high school that's part of our district, and it's housed on COS's old ag facility here in town, not too far away from El Diamante High School. And students are able to take college courses as they are working on their high school diploma, and it's on an ag facility, so there's opportunities for them there regarding agriculture. Also, our 4 comprehensive high schools offer complete ag programs too. So please look at that booklet that we mailed to you, or look to our website for more information regarding our career technical education pathways at our high schools. Another program we have is the CNA, Certified Nurse Assistant, Medical Assistant, and Pharmacy Tech programs. Those programs are for juniors and seniors. And so no matter what high school you go to, you can go to Mount Whitney, because that's where it's housed, as just released for a couple periods in your schedule to work on becoming a certified nurse assistant or medical assistant, where you're prepared to take the certification, and then you could be employed right out of high school for those positions. And let me tell you right now, they are begging us to crank out more students in these programs. They're highly desired, and you're almost guaranteed if you're able to finish employment. And a lot of students do that who wish to eventually further their career in medical sciences. Visalia Independent Study also has their own CNA MA program, and they also have a pharmacy tech program too. So they're another school of choice, independent study charter school. So those are some other options out there. I just wanted to mention those so there wasn't confusion, but those are great things. VTech, you could contact them directly, VCIS, and they are schools of choice, which means they're charter schools and they have their own enrollment situation. But if those are some things you're interested, please contact them too. So let's get into some more detail regarding the application process. So our academies are open access. There is no criteria that students have to meet to be able to go into an academy, but there is one very important one, and that is you have to be a student that lives within VUSD boundaries. So if you live in Tulare or Exeter or Fresno or wherever, you cannot join an academy. You cannot get into our district through the academy process. So before you could even think, if that's you and you don't live in Visalia, if you don't live in our district boundaries, you don't have to go to a district school right now in 8th grade. If you go to a private school or a charter school, that's fine. As long as you can verify you live in VUSD boundaries, you can sign up for one of these academies as you prepare to enroll in one of our high schools. If you're not, you have to apply for an inter-district transfer, and that has to be done first. And you have to have an approved inter-district transfer. One word of caution for you as a parent is that some of our high schools are impacted, and if you get an inter-district transfer, there's a good chance they will assign you to a specific high school. So then if you want to join an academy after you get an inter-district transfer, then you could only really go to the academy that is at the high school you were assigned to. So I want to be very transparent and clear up front, because we had confusion in the past with parents thinking if they fill out our registration or our online form that they could just get into a high school of their choice if they don't live in our district. So that's the first thing. If you have any further questions about that, feel free to email me or to call our department, and we'll talk more about that. In saying that, a question comes up often too, is so let's say I live out by Golden West, but I'm going to sign up for an academy at El Diamante. We do provide transportation for our academy students. So what happens is after we get all our academy students identified, we provide that information to our busing transportation department, and we provide busing from high school to high school. So if you live in Golden West, and there's normal bus routes that will take you to Golden West, and then from Golden West, you could take a bus that will go from there to the other high schools, and that's how you would get there. And so that transportation is available. We don't have the specific bus routes because those change year to year based on requests. And so when you fill out that application, there's a little section in there saying, will I need busing, yes or no? So if you do, click yes. If you don't, no. Let's see. The application window is currently open. It opened on the 19th, a few days ago on Tuesday, and it remains open until February 22nd. That way you have enough time to discuss and talk this over with your child and you as a family to figure out if one of these academies is right for your son or daughter, and to decide on doing this. One thing I want to caution you as parents is that deciding what you want to do in your academic program in high school is a big decision. And it's a decision that could affect you, obviously, for the rest of your life. But what we found is a lot of students really want to go to an academy, but their best friend's not going to go, or their girlfriend isn't going to go, or because they're going to go to their home school. And that's a conversation you need to have if you're selecting academy outside of your normal feeder, your normal home high school. But that's something to consider and discuss, because that's comes up quite a bit, where kids just say, I want to be where my friends are. Well, that's something to think about and discuss. I just want to tell you that I have had personal experiences with students who decided to take that leap and go to a different high school, and they've excelled, and some of them have already graduated from the programs, and it was transformational in the sense of their direction and their goal setting and what they wanted to do for the rest of their life. And that's something that they were willing to make that, and they made all new friends, obviously, and they had a great time. My son, my son, who's a junior, is in one of the academies, and something that he always tells me, I always kind of ask him, I say, so do you like the academy? Are you having a good experience? What's cool about it? And one thing that he says is it brings a sense of like community and a sense of family, because you are cohorted. So as you go from freshman to sophomore, junior to senior, you get to know those kids, work with those kids, have experience with those groups. And so you have kind of like a family within a bigger family of the school itself. Another question that comes up quite a bit is, my son or daughter wants to be in honors programs and AP classes and co-curricular activities such as band and choir, or they want to play football and basketball. Can they do that and be in an academy? And the answer is absolutely yes. So the way it structurally works, a normal high school day or normal high school period or day is 6 periods. And so one of those electives slots that you would have each year would be filled with an academy CTE course. So going back to our Media Arts Academy example, that would be like the intro to video class. The other linked classes are classes that students would be taking anyway. Every high school freshman has to take English. Every freshman has to take math. And so some of those linked courses as part of the academy are courses that they would take anyway, so it doesn't take up a spot. It's not like you're not going to be able to take some other electives. Now, in saying that, one thing I do caution you on is that there is only 6 periods in a day. So if your son or daughter is super aggressive in trying and doing a lot of things, then you might want to consider taking summer school class to free up your schedule, to maybe look at a 0 period as you go through your high school experience to free up your schedule. My son is in an academy, but he's also in a CT pathway separate from the academy. He does both. And the way he's been able to manage that is he's done summer school and is taking classes to get him out of his way to create additional spaces in his schedule. A lot of our academy students play athletics, they're in band, they perform and do those things. So yes, on that. Another thing that comes up is what am I committing to as being part of this academy? Well, you're committing to doing your best and trying your best. And most of the academy activities would be during the instructional day. But there are events like field trips and different things of that sort that might be outside of that might be after school. And it's not overbearing. You're still able to do sports and other after school activities and events, but that's something that your school sites navigate and control to make sure that if there's any conflicts, they work with you on that. But there's also a lot of opportunities after school, such as you get older through the academies, internship opportunities, job shadow opportunities, which some of those might be after the instructional day a bit. And so those are things to consider also. So the process we have from here is once you sign up on our online application form, after February 22nd, we just go through that list. We verify what's there. We make sure that you live where you say you're going to live, kind of a thing. And if there's any question, then we usually contact you. Then by mid-March, we send out a letter of acknowledgement. So the letter of acknowledgement acknowledges that you applied during the open enrollment period for a specific academy. Once you get that letter of acknowledgement, we give all the information to the high school sites. So what they do is then they will contact you. So let's say you signed up for the Computer Science Academy at Mount Whitney, then they will contact you and they will provide you information regarding an orientation that you have to attend and a contract to sign. And the contract is basically just an outline of the agreement. So what are you agreeing to? You're agreeing to doing your best, doing your hardest work. Obviously, if a student runs into major academic trouble, then they might not be able to stay in the academy because they might have to take remedial classes or credit recovery classes, right, if they fail classes. And that's why we have a support structure to hopefully prevent that from happening. In saying that, you are making a 4-year commitment, but you as a parent always have the ability to remove your son or daughter from the academy. Now, the caveat to that is this. If you're going to an academy that's already in your home high school, then you'll stay at your home high school. If you're going to an academy that is not your home high school, so let's say I live in Golden West boundaries, but I'm going to Mount Whitney for an academy. If you leave the academy, then you have to go back to your home high school. And that's a policy we do to make sure people don't abuse the system and just say, I want to go to an academy just to get into a certain high school, but I don't want to be in the academy really. I'm just using that to get in. And so that is the waiver of the interdistrict transfer policy. So it's based on you being in the academy. If you're not in the academy, then you need to go back to your home high school. So that's something to consider also, the level of commitment of your child. Most of our students love their experience and they stick around in it and they really enjoy it. So that's just something to consider. Let's see. So, whoops, let me go back. So on the screen right now, we have a QRL code. And if you have a cell phone or device, you can click on that and it'll take you to our district website where the online registration for these academies is located. Also on the screen here is a picture of the cover of our brochure that we mailed out. We also have digital copies of this available on our website if for some reason you didn't get that in the mail. But look through that. It has all the programs in our district regarding career technical education, regarding some of these alternative programs we're kind of talking about, like the California Cadet Corps, BTEC, and the like, and then also all the academies. Also, here's my phone number and email address, and then there's the website to our district website. And if you have any questions or page you want me to provide some clarity, feel free to add them into the Q&A or page, let me know.
Yeah, let's start with this question. In the next couple of weeks, the counselors and learning directors will be contacting the students to register for their classes for their freshman year. Should they register with their home school or wait to hear if they've gotten into the academy?
So what you want to do is when your students are contacted by their home high school, you want to register with your home high school. And so they'll go through the different course options. So what's going to happen is once they get a list of who's applied to their academies, then what they'll do is the student services will then contact you and adjust the schedule to their high school site. So they'll change the next school to theirs. And then if there's any questions regarding what's in that schedule, they'll reach out and you'll learn more about that process too in the orientation. But I would sign up for the classes. And then once you are relocated to your academy school site, then they will modify that schedule to line up to the academy and then what you've also selected at that other school, but what they have that's comparable.
Okay, so two-part question here, Jamin. Are all 6 classes that the student takes part of the academy? And also, what are the options for summer school?
The answer, no, all 6 courses are not part of the academy. At the minimum, it's 2. So it would be that career technical education course and it may be one linked course. And in some cases, it might be 3. So it's usually 2 or 3 each year that are linked or part of the academy. And the rest are just your normal classes that you would take, that you would choose to take, as part of your program that you select. The second question again?
What summer school options are available? So if they want to be able to open up an elective spot, because like you said, maybe they want to do a CTE pathway along with the academy, what summer school options are available?
So going into your freshman year, currently what's available to you is generally health and driver's ed. And so a lot of incoming freshmen will generally take health to get out of the way, and that frees up a period in their freshman schedule. So your freshman schedule usually isn't too impacted anyway. It gets more impacted as you get into that sophomore and junior year. And then once you get into your sophomore and junior year, you have more summer school options to take. And right now, I'm not technically over summer school, but right now they are working on options regarding summer school for remediation for students that might have failed the course and need to retake it, which is the primary mission of summer school, but also course offerings for advancement. So kids that might want to get a course out of the way to free up their schedule to do other things, that's also available to them. Also, as you go through your high school experience, you want to talk with your student service department at your high school, but there are different options available to you than just summer school. For example, some of our high schools offer different programs, but some of them offer it pre-first. So before school starts, like at 8, whatever, some of the schools offer certain classes like before school starts, like a Spanish class or a PE class or things of that sort. So then they have room in their schedule. Also, as your child gets older, there are opportunities to take college courses that can also meet high school graduation requirements through our local community colleges. And so some of those courses you can take that are embedded in some of our pathways or in some of our courses like English 1 and English 2 of college courses that they could take by the time they're seniors. Or you could take courses what's called concurrently, and that is you can get permission from your student services to take a college course like over summer, or take it in addition to maybe during the fall or spring semester. And some students have done that and have been very successful at it. And that way it also frees up some time in their schedule for different activities or events. So I think.
So Jamie, let me read this next question. It says, does it matter on timeline for registering for summer school? For example, we live in Redwood, applied to El Diamante Academy. We want to know, we know he wants summer school. Do we go ahead and register for summer school when we enroll at our home school, or do we wait to hear if he's accepted into the academy and then ask for summer school?
Well, summer school is not a program that's site specific. It's a district program. So when you register, when you get contacted by your home high school, you want to show interest in taking summer school right off the bat. So that way it's in the system. Then when you get information regarding the academy, and let's say then you get moved to Mount Whitney High School, they already have that information and they'll make sure that happens for you.
Okay, I'm looking at other questions we have here. I think right now it's looking like a lot of our questions are answered. Let's look, one popped up. Someone's asking, how is the media and design arts pathway at Redwood differ from the academy at El Diamante?
So the Media Arts Academy at El Diamante goes into some of the similar scopes of like what the Redwood Media Arts CT pathway does, but it goes far and far and far beyond. We have several different teachers within the Media Arts Academy at LD that get into set design, they get into script writing, they get into all facets within cinematography and that industry. And they also get into a lot of creative elements regarding special effects and the technology around that. Whereas the Redwood program is kind of scaled smaller. And so they do video production, they learn video software and things of that sort. But their pathway is generally a 2 to 3 course sequence. And so you really don't have an opportunity to take it all 4 years if you're interested. If you would, you'd be repeating a course you already took. So it's just a smaller scaled down program, even though there's a lot of similar components, but the Media Arts program is a 4-year, really heavily committed to that industry sector and doing a lot more of the work-based learning around it. But both programs are good. So it's just whatever where the interest lies and the commitment lies on what you want to do and where you want to go.
Okay, we have another easy question here. What if we are in the process of moving, but staying in Visalia Unified District? How does this impact qualifying for academies?
As long as you live within Visalia Unified School District boundaries, you're fine. And if you're in an academy, it doesn't matter where you live within the boundaries because you've been accepted to that academy, whether you live in that home high school or not, if that makes sense. I think that's what they're asking.
Yes, I think you nailed it. Next, how is mock trial and Law and Justice Academy differ?
Mock trial is not exclusive to the Law and Justice Academy, but most of the students in it currently are Law and Justice Academy students, if that makes sense. So if you just don't want to necessarily be in Law and Justice, but you want to be in mock trial, I think there is a way for that to happen. But for the most part, the Academy really works intently on developing that skill set, and a lot of those students are Academy students.
Okay, and then they're asking if the application is on the website that you just put up there.
Yes. Yeah, it's up there. So once you get to the link learning page on our district website, you'll see where it says application or apply now, and then it gives information regarding, you know, this meeting and kind of what we're doing, but also there's a link directly to the portal on it. And if for some reason you can't find it or you have problems, feel free to call us and we'll walk you through it. But also it's in the booklet that was mailed to you and the letter that was part of that with that booklet. That information is also in there on how to get to the application.
And we have another question. Is there an academy for mechanical engineering?
Currently, we do not have one for mechanical engineering. That's something that we were looking at. If that new high school got built, would be something that's more geared toward those different engineering fields. But the engineering and architecture pathway is geared more toward the construction industry. But we do have computer science, which is geared toward computer science and engineering in that respect. But we don't have one on mechanical engineering currently.
And when is the registration due?
The cutoff for the registration is February 22nd, but let's say that you weren't able to make up your mind by then, or you know, or in talking with your friends, they didn't know about this or didn't hear about it, or they just moved into town and they want to participate in this. After the February 22nd window closes, then we go through those names and we disperse that information out to the academies. If you missed it, then what you want to do is contact the school site that you're interested in and the academy you're interested in, and ask them if there's room. And then if there is no room, you'd be placed on a waiting list. If there is room, then they would let you in. Some of our academies do get pretty full, and we haven't had to do a lottery yet, but if our initial interest is more than we can handle and more kids than we have space for, then we will do a lottery system. But so far in our process, we've been full, but not to where we have to turn people away if they have signed up during the open enrollment period.
Okay, we have another great question. If the pathway programs are only 2 or 3 courses, do those need to be picked now as well? Or are students able to apply after freshman year?
For the CTE pathways, generally it would be your freshman or sophomore year, you would jump into those.
Okay. Also, I just kind of want to reiterate, because I think maybe this question touched on that as well. If you're currently meeting with your counselor, learning director in the next month to register for your classes, choose your classes as you normally would. Once you're accepted to an academy, those classes, those elective classes, are sent over to the school that hosts the academy that you've been accepted to. And they will then also add in the elective for the academy. But your other electives, you need to choose as you normally would with your counselor or learning director. I'm looking at the questions. I think we've pretty much hit on everyone's questions at this time. I do want to reiterate to our Spanish-speaking audience with our interpreters that we will be showing the Spanish version of the video that we showed today at the conclusion of our question and answers right now. So if you'd like to listen to that, stay with us. Jamin, do you have any closing thoughts?
I just want to say this is a great opportunity. You know, I think some of you might have seen the Hair Club for Men commercials in the past where the CEO says he's not just the president, but he's also a client. And I could say that it's also true for myself. My son is in an academy and he loves the experience. And I'm glad that he decided that that was something for him to pursue. And I honestly got to say, in talking with our industry partners, they're just ecstatic to be a part of this, to work with our students. Many have hired our students after high school and really put them on a trajectory for success in their careers. So this is something that you definitely want to think deeply on if it's something that you want to take a part in, that if you want your child to take a part in, and talk to them about it and go through the booklet. Feel free to email or call us if you have questions. Feel free to also call the school sites directly, the academies directly, if you have more specific questions about the curriculum or the academy at that particular site. So feel free to also reach out to them directly for that. And that information is on our website.
Jamin, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and take this time now to transition this to the Spanish version of our video for our audience.
Academia de Artes Mediáticos. Las personas entran a la Academia de Medios de Comunicación porque tienen una historia que compartir. Puede ser que aún no sepan su historia, pero en esta academia los estudiantes aprenderán a planear, producir y editar películas. Aprenderán diseño de personaje y efectos prácticos. Los artes mediáticos y la producción de películas en particular son algunas de las maneras en que los estudiantes pueden encontrar su voz. Academia Informática. A los estudiantes se les ha enseñado la lectura y escritura desde el kinder, pero nunca se les ha enseñado a codificar o programar una computadora. Saben cómo usar la tecnología, los teléfonos inteligentes y las aplicaciones, pero no tienen la habilidad para crearlas. El trabajo y el dinero se encuentran en crear programas y aplicaciones. El ser parte de la Academia Informática les permite ser quienes están creando la tecnología para la próxima generación. Academia de Ciencias de Salud. Los estudiantes que tienen un interés en una profesión de salud deben de ser parte de esta academia. Si piensas que algún día esto podría ser lo que te interesa, explóralo. Tendrás la oportunidad de comenzar el entrenamiento aquí con el aprendizaje de algo tan simple como la RCP, que pudiera salvar la vida de una persona. Descubrirás las diferentes carreras de salud que existen y si te interesa la ciencia y ayudar a las personas, la Academia de Ciencias de la Salud es para ti. Academia de Arquitectura e Ingeniería. ¿Cuántos de ustedes han estado en una obra de construcción? Un ingeniero es otra palabra para describir un solucionador de problemas. Los ingenieros son los que diseñan las carreteras, están diseñando puentes, están diseñando robots y están diseñando presas. Están diseñando edificios, aviones, carros. Puedes pensar en cualquier cosa que veas en el mundo y los ingenieros lo están creando. Academia de Primera Intervención. La Academia de Primera Intervención trabajará con el Departamento de Sheriff, el Departamento de Policía, Patrulla de Carreteras, paramédicos, bomberos, helicóptero y cualquier persona que esté en la escena de un accidente o evento catastrófico. Nadie puede dar información de lo que encontrarás. Trabajarás con personas en diferentes etapas de la vida y tenemos que estar listos para responder en cualquier momento. Uno no puede estar en esta carrera sin tener ese tipo de mentalidad. Academia de Strong. Strong es un acrónimo que significa terapia deportiva, rehabilitación, ortopedia y ganancia neuromuscular. Cada pieza de este acrónimo representa diferentes profesiones que puedes procurar al terminar esta academia. A mí me gusta usar el movimiento como medicina y mi meta es ayudarles a las personas a regresar a su vida normal. Si te interesa el cuerpo humano y la manera en que funciona, este programa es para ti. Academia de Ley y Justicia. Esta es la primera página de nuestra Constitución que forma las leyes de este país. Estos estudiantes van a ver los abogados de defensa, abogados de acusación y el jurado, juez y toda persona involucrada en el proceso del tribunal. Al estar en la sala del tribunal, de verdad sí habrá un acusado en juicio.
Ladies and gentlemen, is this your verdict?
El momento en que dicen las palabras culpable o no culpable, has cambiado el destino de una persona. Academia de Finanzas Comerciales. En el primer año esperamos enseñar una visión general de las carreras disponibles. El segundo año se enseña la iniciativa empresarial. El tercer año es contabilidad y el último año es un curso virtual de negocio. En cuanto comencé mi negocio, recordé todas mis clases y usé mi plan virtual para comenzar mi negocio. Academia de Biociencias de Agricultura y Tecnología. Un aspecto único de esta academia es que somos pequeños y basados en una granja. Cada día es interesante y hay tanto aprendizaje práctico. Trabajamos afuera con los animales y en el taller implementando lo que estamos aprendiendo. Esta es la emoción del desarrollo que está pasando ahorita en la educación y los estudiantes del 8º grado benefician de este gran programa que estamos creando. Algo que temo es que los padres piensen que estamos intentando de forzar a los estudiantes que elijan una carrera cuando estén en el 8º grado y no es así. Esto solo proporciona una amplia exposición de carrera para que puedan explorar. En una situación de aprendizaje vinculado, tenemos adultos interesados en invertir su tiempo, energía y esfuerzo en un estudiante y el estudiante responde igualmente. Lo más importante es la relación entre estudiante y maestro. El aprendizaje vinculado es una idea perfecta para la educación. Ya no tenemos materias independientes como la lectura, matemáticas o las ciencias. Los juntan por medio de un tema común. Para el aprendizaje profesional van a tener líderes de la industria, ejecutivos, gerentes con los que has trabajado y hablado. Si quieren comenzar en un trabajo a nivel de entrada, ya tienen las habilidades básicas. Si ellos comenzarán en la universidad, serán los líderes de esa universidad. Estoy muy emocionado de tener estas academias vinculadas en mi escuela. Estudiantes que pueden estar con un grupo de estudiantes que tienen intereses similares. Hace que la escuela sea mucho más reconocible y real para ellos. Un estudiante motivado, estudiado y emocionado para su futuro puede comenzar su vida adulta con confianza. Este estudiante no solo es elegible para su futuro, pero está preparado para su futuro y para superar las barreras sin dejar de progresar. La motivación propia tiene mucho poder. Los maestros intentan motivar a los estudiantes, pero eso no se puede inculcar. Eso solo viene del estudiante. Pero podemos diseñar experiencias que inician motivación propia y eso sí funciona. Cada estudiante necesita la experiencia del aprendizaje profesional, tanto como la experiencia del aprendizaje basado en proyectos. Cada estudiante necesita maneras de explorar las cosas que le causan emoción al pensar en el futuro. La belleza de este programa que produce oportunidades en el futuro es la visión de lo que puede ser y el hecho de pensar yo puedo hacer eso.
Okay, that ends our Spanish video for this evening. I'd like to thank everyone for participating today and joining us. We look forward to meeting you and your students. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to give our office a call at 730-7510 or go to our website and check out more details. Please have a good evening and we will talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.